Joining us on this morning's program, doing a stock spotlight, is Haas.
Brother Sumo. Taco Tuesday sounds good, man. I think your old lady needs to start making me some tacos on Tuesdays. What do you think of that?
I think I rub off on you guys in the right ways.
Oh, that's man love right there, Sumo.
That's one of the few things that she can cook.
Oh, I hope she's not listening. Actually, I hope
No.
she is. We always hear the background noise going on. It'd be good to hear her ripping you a new one.
I think I'm the better cook in the house, but that's okay. We'll leave that for the listeners only.
Sounds good, man. So how's it going? What are you looking at today?
Oh, I'm just fired up to hear more good in-depth DD from you, my man.
Nah, it sounds good to me. Yeah, we got a stock spotlight. We did one a little while ago on this particular company. The ticker is HIMR, the company Holland Industrial Marine. I'm just going to start off here just going over their websites. I'm not going to cover everything that I covered in the last stock spotlight, but there are a couple of new things that we definitely want to go over and that shareholders are going to want to be aware of, and also potential shareholders, of course. But basically, this is their main website, hollandindustrialmarine.com. And, they're involved in the underwater forestry market. And for a long time there, since inception, several years ago, they had all the patents, and they were working on research and development for this TigerLink product right here. And TigerLink is an innovative underwater remote manipulator system designed for underwater logging and other challenging marine applications. So in other words, it's a giant underwater logging machine, and it's actually pretty cool. So let's just roll over to the TigerLink website, www.tigerlink, and link is lynk.com. And as you can see, just got this giant machine. Various robotic arms can basically move in any direction you could possibly think of. And, basically perfect for underwater logging versus what they've been doing in the recent past and, sending friggin' scuba divers around all this big machinery underwater versus this remote system right here. When you're sending people there, it's pretty dangerous. So very innovative technology, kind of revolutionizing the underwater forestry market. If they can ink some deals and expand as they've been announcing that they're going to via press recently. So some potential applications of this, you can just click on this TigerLink and action link on TigerLink here. And obviously, I'm sure there are plenty of other applications for this specific technology, but just a few that they note on the TigerLink website. Construction machines, you can use it for various types of construction. Forest machines, what we were just talking about, underwater logging. Mining machines, different types of alluvial mining and dredging, different things like that, and also flood emergency machines are some of the key points that they note on their website here. So make sure you go and check out these websites, check out the product. It's got a lot of the actual TigerLink specifications, what it can all do, how big it is, what sort of load size it can hold. Very cool product, very cool technology, cool stuff. But as I mentioned, with HIMR specifically, let's roll over to the pink sheets, we see that they have a pretty large share structure. Outstanding share count of 8.15 billion shares as of July 25th, 2012. All right, so we can definitely see why it got hammered down to the trip zero area. A company with no revenues that is spending all this money on research and development of this TigerLink product, this giant machine, basically perfecting it. And essentially, they had to issue shares to be able to acquire rights to all that and, bring in the money that they needed to actually do that research and development. But recently, with several different management changes within the company, they don't have a new focus. They're still focusing on the underwater logging market. But what they did is they gave back, well, not gave back, they sold back essentially this TigerLink technology back to the original owner, the original innovator for the particular product, and took back the I think it's 3 billion shares that they gave him for exclusive access to all the patents and the actual technology itself. And now the original developer of the actual technology is responsible for that research and development at this point. And the business focus of HIMR, or Holland Industrial Marine, is going to be marketing that product. So basically what they've been doing is forming these little teams to go either throughout the US, and another major market that they're targeting is the Brazil market. They're sending out these teams, talking to different companies involved with some of those things we mentioned, underwater logging, mining, and they're also in talks with some different types of lumber companies. A notable one that we'll check out in a press release in a little bit that we also mentioned on the other SpotLight. So they're kind of teaming up with the proper personnel to be able to market this technology and make it a really efficient system and an efficient business model versus spending all this money doing everything, including research and development of this TigerLink technology, which, it's very, very costly. So recently what we've been seeing within the company is a restructuring process, restructuring of different types of debt and actual reduction of the share count. Because now that they don't have to spend all that time, effort, money, energy on the development of the actual TigerLink product, and they can focus more on marketing, it allows them a little bit more leeway as far as managing the share structure. So let's just roll over to the IHA real quick and check out the press that they put out over the last, half month here. Back on August 1st, 2012, they had mentioned it before this, but Holland Industrial Marine to enact a stock retirement program anticipates removing 3.5 billion shares out of the market. All right, that's from the outstanding share count. Let's just read the press they put out yesterday, post-market, 11 hours ago. And they've actually retired 1 billion of their 3.5 billion share target. All right, so this press from yesterday, post-market, Holland Industrial Marine Incorporated announced that the company today has reduced the issued and outstanding share count by just over 1 billion shares, starting the intended dilution reform program, aka share reduction plan, weeks earlier than originally contemplated. Over-the-counter markets information site will be updated within the next 24 hours and should reflect within the day. All right, so that's not updated yet on Pink Sheets, but we should be seeing that reduction in that outstanding share count very, very shortly, sometime today, if not early morning tomorrow. And they give you a nice little link to the HIMR Facebook page, Twitter page, and LinkedIn page right there as well. So I encourage you to go check those out. All right, and just to reiterate a little bit on, the different types of changes in this company, I'm just going to scroll here and just kind of show. I'm not going to go through each of these news pieces individually. We've already done most of that in the other spotlight, so you can go do that yourself again. But you can see they're appointing different types of directors and board members, so lots of management changes. And then, obviously focusing on this underwater, global underwater forestry market still. But they've gotten rid of, focusing all their time and energy on developing the TigerLink. Now they're marketing it, and they are marketing it with the exclusive rights to market it at this point. So they're still on very good terms with the original developer of the TigerLink product. And let's just check out a couple of these press releases just to reiterate again. Like I said, they're forming these different teams within different countries to market the product. Let's just use the U.S. as an example, and then we'll check out the Brazil one because those are the two main ones right now. Holland Industrial Marine Incorporated announced today that the company's vice president, Sheldon Romaine, will lead Holland's first team organized under the Project Team Initiative, which launched this past May to maximize marketing efforts, boost production, and accelerate market entry around the world. With Peter Meyer's mandate to broaden and strengthen underwater forest and mining concessions and partnerships, we took immediate action in forming the U.S. Underwater Forest Project Development Team. All right, so they formed a team within the U.S. there. And also a major market and potential market for HIMR is the Brazil market. So let's check out press release from June 19th, 2012, talking about the Brazil market. Holland Industrial Marine Incorporated announced today that the South American Project Development Team, so we have a U.S. Project Development Team and now a South American Project Development Team, has targeted the Tucuruí and Balbina Dam reservoirs in Brazil for planned future development. Combined project estimates conservatively reflect close to $2 billion US, partly giving cause to pursue exclusive licensing of underwater logging technology within that Brazil market. So a potential $2 billion project there in the Brazilian market for those two particular dam reservoirs, not to mention a larger market throughout the rest of Brazil and also South America itself. So they're making a footprint, and as of right now, it looks like they are marketing the product effectively. They're hitting the right markets. They're talking to the right people. And also another note on that is they're forming the right kind of partnerships. Let's check out the press release from Thursday, June 28th, 2012. They are partnering with logging companies, reclaimed wood product companies. All right. Announced that discussions with North Cal Wood Products Incorporated have resumed, positioning Holland to take advantage of a strategic partnership which could significantly impact the company's revenue model, potentially increasing the profitability of each concession secured by the Underwater Forest Harvesting Company. All right. And just another note on this, I just see it mentioned here, you know, think of how large that underwater forestry market could potentially be. I mean, all these different types of swamps and rivers all over the world. And basically there's no other use for, you know, the underwater plantations. And this market's massive. I mean, $50 billion market. I would estimate that it's much larger than that, to be honest with you. But I mean, that's huge. Just those two dam reservoirs in Brazil were a $2 billion project itself. How much of that money actually comes back to HIMR will depend on how they structure this business model. But it looks like they're doing the right things, getting rid of the costly research and development of the TigerLink product. They're handing that back to the original owner, and that's allowing them to manage this share structure. With the recent news, we've been seeing them reduce the share structure now, and I would expect that to continue in the future. And hopefully once they get to get some revenues coming in and, you know, get to a point of near profitability or at profitability, they can start some sort of buyback and continue to reduce that share structure and bring value to the shareholders once they start securing some of these projects related to underwater logging or mining or whatever they find a use for with the TigerLink product. Obviously, they're focusing specifically on underwater logging so far. But so we should see this outstanding share count of 8.15 billion shares reduced by the 1.5 billion shares mentioned in the press release yesterday. We should see that updated at some point today. And also keep in mind that the float's actually pretty low relative to the outstanding share count. So a lot of those shares are restricted and in insider hands that really can't sell like normal people can. Those are restricted until, I believe, 2013. Oh, that reminds me, actually. Let's go over to the iHub. There was a post on the iHub, Skyrocket Insight. This was posted on Monday, August 6th, 2012. Later on in the evening, I think this was actually the day that we did our spotlight, but this is post-market, and someone sent some questions to investor relations at Holland Industrial Marine. This is in the sticky posts. If any of you want to go check this out on the iHub itself. But let's just go over some of these questions and answers. It gives a little insight into some of the things I've been saying. Thank you for taking the time to write us. It indeed means a lot to us that shareholders like you are concerned enough, be it about your own investment or the success of Holland, to communicate with our management. We hope to be able to address all of your questions and concerns. Before we proceed, please be mindful that we are a public company. This means that there may be some topics we cannot address individually. To that end, however, we will seek to publicly address those concerns we cannot answer individually, as to means to remain compliant with satisfying your inquiries. Also, please note that the executives of this company are shareholders, just as you are, with the presumed difference, of course, being that they hold restricted shares, while you may hold free trading shares. Therefore, it behooves them, the executives, as well as any other affiliate and insider, to keep dilution to a minimum and maintain the greatest stock value the company and market can bear. All right. So addressing your questions in the order received, were the shareholders notified over the last couple of months when the OSAS went from under $1 billion to over $8 billion? Yes, they were notified. It was in the quarterly reports, and some of that was related to technologies that they've taken off the books at this point. The increase of the outstanding shares is something that occurs over a period of time and would show up in our next quarterly report. However, being that the change increase to the issued and outstanding shares was so significant, we did in fact opt to update the cap table with over-the-counter markets prior to our next required filing. Thus, in essence, we did alert you and the other shareholders in believed to be more than timely manner. What was the reasoning behind the share increase and how did it get there? The share increase was due to issuance to affiliates and insiders. Affiliates being, licensing net technology partners. This means that the majority of the issued and outstanding shares are restricted, held by persons deemed to be affiliates. These shares will not be eligible for resale, cannot come to the market until mid-2013. Even then, at that time, so long as those persons holding these shares continue to be greater than 10% holders of the company, there will be limitations on their ability to liquidate into our market. The fact that we've enacted a plan to reduce the issued and outstanding would indicate that not only would some of these persons end up with many less shares, but by way of the share reduction ratio, many of these same persons would likely continue to hold in excess of 10% of the company. Question 3, it will be approximately 45 days until you lower the OS, not the AS, downward 1.5 billion shares. During the last 45 days, will you be selling shares or are you done selling shares for now? Yes, we have planned structure to reduce the issued and outstanding over a period of 4 to 5 months. Remember, this was on August 6th that you received this email, so we're seeing that a week and a half later right now that we're already seeing that 1.5 billion share reduction in the outstanding share count, so much earlier than expected. The reason for the start date being approximately 45 days out, purely logistics. Tim, to be clear, we cannot sell free trading shares. The free trading shares you're referring to when you say shares, and we do not generally sell restricted stock, although we are not completely opposed to such under favorable conditions. Further, we have not participated in any exempt or registered transactions, toxic 504s, Reg A's, respectively. Therefore, the short answer is no. You'll not be selling any shares during the allotted 45 days. Let's see. What is the financial reward versus cost of the new TigerLink technology? If all Holland was to do was find the concession, while the fee would be handsome enough, it would simply be a finder's fee, whereby to market, manage, and operate the technology affords us the ability to generate a far greater revenue stream. Question 5, what is the lowest you see the share count, OS, AS going from where we are right now to the end of the year. And he basically just says right now, as we have planned, is the 3.5 billion share reduction. Is reverse stock split out of the question, seeing that you are reducing shares for the benefit of the shareholders? It would be irresponsible and untruthful to say we absolutely rule out a reverse. Ooh, I don't like that. However, as previously mentioned, a reverse is not an attractive method of restructuring a company. Obviously, they're focusing on trying to reduce the share count in other ways right now. It usually hurts shareholders needlessly and gives more chance to the adversarial aspects of the market to prevail. We are determined to strengthen our market's value by restructuring our market cap in such a way that our shareholders have the opportunity to win. We believe that our plan to reduce the issued and outstanding shares by at least 3.5 billion shares supports us in that pursuit. All right, so make sure you go check that out. Some good little tidbits of information in there. Get a little feel for investor relations and management at HIMR, Holland Industrial Marine. I think I have covered most of the important extra points aside from our initial spotlight back about a week ago, so make sure you go check out that one as well. It's lots of information on some of the older stuff to do with the company. Let's just check out DD Amanda real quick, and then we'll roll over to Stock Sumo for a chart. We can see back on late July here, dollar volume was pretty good. 86, 196,000, $92,000 day. Quieted off for a little bit. Started off late last week there, pretty quiet, and then this week been getting some more action again. Definitely a couple of bigger players on this out in the market as the volume's picking up again. Very interesting company. They're definitely doing some things that should make shareholders very happy. So I fully expect a bunch more news to come from this company in the near future. And if they are done diluting and they keep restructuring shares in this fashion, I see no reason why the share price can't make a big run if they let it move. They got to stop the dilution. They got to get those fat asses out of the way. They got to get those big sellers out of the way. But why don't we take a look at the chart, Simo?
Sounds good. Let's roll over to the chart, and we'll start at the top and work our way down. Notice the accumulation and distribution is starting to pick back up after bottoming out here recently. And RSI is starting to climb back up and is getting through the 50 MA overlay. Now, the last time that the accumulation distribution broke that 50 MA overlay, that coincided with the RSI punching through the 50 MA overlay, and that's when we saw the little pop from 0006 area support all the way on up to 0011. Since that run, we've consolidated to a new level of support down at 0003, and past couple days the volume's been flowing back in the stock, and it's been making higher lows off of that bottom. And yesterday closed at 0006, which is a key resistance. That's the 20-day moving average. And after the 20-day, you got the 50-day at 0008, and then the 100-day at 0011. So those are some key levels of resistance. If the stock can get above this 20-day moving average, I'd like to see it hold that and close above the 20-day moving average. We've seen it before when they break above the moving averages, and as long as they can hold above them, then that's bullish. So moving down, you got the slow stow and the PPO just ready to cross here. Slow stow just crossed over, and the PPO is getting ready to cross over, and both are just below the 50 MA overlay. So I'd like to see these both get above the 50 MA overlay. I'd like to see the blue bars on the histogram flip over to the positive side as they look like they're starting to do, and I'd like to see this volume continue to pick up and increase. So that'll be all a good sign.
Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio. All views and topics talked about on Stock Traders Talk Radio is solely for entertainment purposes. We are not professional financial advisors and always recommend you seek the advice of a professional financial advisor. Never invest in any stock featured on our show unless you can afford to lose your entire investment. The information contained on our show is based on sources which we believe to be reliable, but is not guaranteed by us as being accurate, and might not be a complete statement or summary of the available data. Stock Traders Talk Radio advises that the investments in companies profiled are commonly considered to be high risk, and use of the information provided is at the investor's sole risk. Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio.